How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech and also to my review of the Synology DS418Play, which is a network attached storage device that I can use for all of my video backups and then that I can also access from anywhere in the world. Now, I have actually been looking for a NAS unit for quite a while now. So when Synology contacted me and said they wanted to send over the DS418Play, I was ecstatic. Not only will I be able to back up all of my videos and my project files, which I keep around 90% of everything and is already ranging around the 6 terabytes, from that I actually started backing everything up, but I will also able to use it for a home media server for all of my movies and music. But most importantly, again, being able to access the NAS from anywhere in the world is going to make editing a lot simpler. If I want to get a offsite editor later on, I'm going to be able to do that without needing to worry how I'm going to supply the footage for the editor. And then also if I do go somewhere, for example, Computex, which I'm leaving for tomorrow, it's going to make it a lot simpler to get some of the footage if I do need it. Now, those are the main reasons why I wanted the DS418Play, but there are so many other things you can actually use the device for, like group projects, web hosting, surveillance, and so many others. Now, I'm not going to go over all of that because I'm not really going to use it for like home surveillance or anything. I'm going to go over the basics and then also the more media backup that I'm going to use it for. So starting off with the design, you do get a reasonably small square box that weighs in at just around 2.2 kilograms without any hard drives inside. The body is made out of a plastic, but it does have a metal frame inside, which is going to keep your internals secure. On the front, you do get these 4 super easy toolless and hot swappable hard drive bays that can handle both 2.5 inch and 3.5 inch drives. You are also able to lock these drives with the included keys, but I'm not exactly sure how secure it really is. It does kind of look like you can find something to turn the lock and open it up, like with a screwdriver or something like that. Now, it's not a big concern for me, but if you are concerned of somebody perhaps stealing your drives, just keep that in mind. Continuing with the front, you do get 5 LEDs, one showing the status of the NAS and then for the 4 hard drives. Then you do also get a USB 3.0 port that can be used for external storage drives. Moving into the back, you do get a dual Gigabit Ethernet ports which support both a link aggregation and a failover. Link aggregation is where you use both of the Ethernet ports, connect them to your router or switch, and then get double the available bandwidth if your network is set up right. This is really handy, especially if you are more of a heavy user and you do need that extra bandwidth that just a single gigabit can supply. Then along with the Ethernet ports, you do get another USB 3.0 port at the back, your DC in 12 volt power connection, and then a Kensington lock. You do also get 2 92mm fans at the back, which can get a bit noisy. However, you do have some other fan options like quiet mode, which will lower the noise quite a bit, but in exchange, it will increase the temps somewhat. Now, as for specifications, the DS418Play comes with a dual-core Intel Celeron J3355, which has a base clock of 2 GHz and a turbo boost up to 2.5 GHz. It doesn't really sound like much, but just for the server storage, you don't really need anything crazy, and is also low on power. For memory, you do get 2 SODIMM slots, and out of the box, you only get a single 2 gig low voltage DDR3 DIMM. However, you can take it up to a max of 6 gigs with an extra 4 gig DIMM, which will help out a bit more if you are a heavy user. But for most of my cases, even the 2 gigs was still fine. Also, an important part is a power consumption. Being that the NAS will be running most likely the entire day or even 24/7, you want to keep the power consumption to a minimum. It is of course going to depend on how many drives you have installed, but for the 2 drives I had installed, it was pretty low. Now, as for the hard drives, again, the DS418Play supports up to 4 drives and a max of 14 terabytes per drive, which gives you a maximum of 54 terabytes, depending on your RAID setup, of course. As for the supported RAID types, I'll just show you guys a list of all of them because there's a bunch that is supported, so you will have a bunch to choose from. Also, for the internal drives, the supported file format for those is only ext4 and a BTRFS. But for the external drives that you connect through the USBs, they'll want support most of the common file types like exFAT, FAT32, NTFS, all of those. So then after turning your NAS on, you will need to install the OS first, set up your RAID setup, which is super simple. You don't really have to do a lot. It's really not complicated. Then all you need to do is log into your NAS. You are greeted with a very simple and easy to understand interface that lets you create all of your basics like files, different users with their own access to the NAS, and also you can install other applications. With these other applications, you allow the NAS to be used for so many other use cases, like I mentioned in the beginning. You can download an antivirus to scan all of your programs to make sure everything's secure. There's a different languages support that I'm not exactly sure how it works because I'm not going to use it for that. You can install an iTunes server, a Plex server, and then many others. Just having those options also for like a Plex server is really cool. I haven't really set up my own yet, but having it as an option for the NAS and having all of my media on the NAS, it might actually be something that I'm gonna try out. However, even without the Plex, you can still connect the NAS to your PC, TV, phone, tablet, whatever. You can access all of the files super easily. Now, as for the media consumption, if you wanted to watch movies in like a 4K, the DS418Play does support transcoding of 2 channels of both H.264 and H.265 at the same time, which is going to take the load off your TV or your other devices for a seamless playback without it needing to transcode everything. Now, as for all of those different use cases that I mentioned before, Synology has a bunch of different software and apps for accessing those specific features. You don't need to use just the web interface for everything. You can go download some of these apps and use only for the cloud, only for your videos, your music, your pictures, all of that. There's a bunch of different ones to choose from for those specific features, and it also works on Android. Also, again, accessing the NAS over cloud was really simple with the Quick Connect, both on Android and on a PC. You can either use the web interface again, or you can download one of those apps that I mentioned before to handle everything. Transferring speeds is of course going to depend on your internet connection, both for your upload speed of the NAS at home and then the download speed of the device you're currently using, and then the drives of course, but I think that's going to be the last bottleneck really, being that the drive is reasonably fast. Otherwise you're going to need a really fast internet connection, which I don't have. So then that is pretty much it for my review of the Synology DS418Play. Again, some of these use cases I didn't really go into because it's not what I'm going to use it for, and I didn't test it out for that. But you do have all of those different options that you can actually try out. For me, again, I'm going to use it for a backup server for my videos because, again, I keep around 90% of all my files. And then also I'm going to turn it into a media server, which is going to be awesome. The feature that I honestly like the most is that the NAS system supports that personal cloud. So I can access my files from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. And again, if I want to get an offline editor, I can get somebody to access the drive and edit all of my videos through that. But that is pretty much it. I honestly love this thing. It's super handy. You do get some of these smaller ones without the hot swappable drives or the internal drives, but if you do want to expand it later on, add those 14 terabyte drives, you can do that. And the other ones, some of the other ones don't really allow you to. But Synology does have a bunch of different ones like this. You can go check them out. I will leave a link in the video description for this one and then for some of the other ones. So a big thanks to Synology for sending the DS418Play over. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment like always, and I'll check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.